I'm Ed Kelley, editor of The Oklahoman. War in the Middle East is an abstraction, even in patriotic Oklahoma. This election season, I've had the opportunity to talk with political candidates running for federal and state offices in our state. Voters are giving the candidates an earful on budget and spending issues, particularly in Washington. But what's not coming up in conversations are questions from Oklahomans to the candidates about our military fighting two expensive wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's true even with members of Congress from our delegation in the House and Senate. More often than not, lawmakers out campaigning have to bring up the subject themselves because Oklahomans aren't interested enough to do so themselves. I'm not the only one who worries that the public has tuned out the two wars. Defense Secretary Robert Gates recently said Americans have grown detached and see military service as something for other people to do. There are 2.4 million servicemen and women in the armed forces, but it represents less than 1% of the total U.S. population. That proportion, Gates said, is the smallest ever. Fortunately, the people who do volunteer are our greatest citizens. A sad reminder came not long ago when funeral services were held in Duncan for a young Army sergeant killed in Afghanistan. Vincent Atkinson III, known as Trinity, was an Army Ranger who frequently was in harm's way. His dad said his son viewed the military as a second family. And as my colleague Brian Dean reported, the younger Atkinson volunteered for additional deployments because he despaired of seeing his brothers in arms getting killed while he was sitting at home. There's no doubt Americans are tired of these Middle East wars, which have taken up most of a decade. Whether the United States ultimately prevails is a big unknown. But what is known is that the sacrifice by men and women like Trinity Atkinson remains the ultimate sacrifice. And there's nothing abstract or inconsequential about it.